Well, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to be here today with our Solicitor General, Michael Kersner, our Police Chief, Eric Stubbs, our Mayor, Mark Sutcliffe, my colleague and great friend and social media advocate, Goldie Gamari, MPP for Carleton, and of course, former Member of Parliament and leading Jewish rights activist and someone who is well known working for the Canadian Israel Jewish Action Committee, Richard Marceau. Ladies and gentlemen, we know that hate crimes have been on the rise across the City of Ottawa and throughout the province of Ontario. And your Ontario government takes it very seriously, and that's why we're here today. Solicitor General Kersner has been leading on that front as a Jewish man himself and as somebody who has been a strong advocate for you in the Ontario legislature. Solicitor General Kersner is here today to talk about our next steps as a government in order to best support and address hate crimes in our city and to make sure that we have a solid path forward as we move together as a community and as a province. So Solicitor General Kersner, please join us at the podium so that we may hear from you and understand better the steps you're going to take as Solicitor General to support minority communities in our city and across Ontario. And I might add, you're a gentleman and a scholar and somebody who I love to serve with, and I've known you for quite some time, and I know that this file is something that is near and dear to your heart, and I know it's also something that you've seen firsthand. So please join us at the podium, and welcome to the City of Ottawa. We arranged the cold weather just for you.
Good morning, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. And thank you very much, Lisa, for the kind introduction, and also to acknowledge Mayor Sutcliffe and Chief Eric Stubbs and the command leadership here in Ottawa, and my colleague Goldie Gamari. It's wonderful to see you, and thank you, Richard Marceau, for joining us. It's an honor for me to be here at the Ottawa Police headquarters. C'est un grand honneur pour moi d'être ici avec vous aujourd'hui. Communities that are safe and vibrant serve as the heartbeat of society, nurturing a sense of security and belonging. And I'm proud to say that this is something that I see firsthand in Ottawa. Ottawa est une communauté où les gens se traitent avec dignité et respect. When safety is assured, individuals can pursue their aspirations and contribute meaningfully and engage without fear, allowing for the flourishing of Ontario. These types of communities not only provide a safe space from harm, but also lay the groundwork for social connections, economic growth, and enriched cultures. In my role as Solicitor General, I've come to be sincerely grateful for Ontario's courageous frontline police officers who work diligently every single day to keep communities safe across Ontario and are supported every day by civilians who help them keep our communities safe. And I know there are many more people behind the scenes. There's a lot of people behind the scenes, day in and day out, that work very hard for their communities. Je tiens à rendre hommage à tous, celles à tous ceux qui assurent la sécurité de nos collectivités. And under the leadership of Premier Ford, our government knows that the people of Ontario have the inherent right to live safe in their own communities, to wake up their kids in the morning and to see them off to school, to go to work, to shop, to play in the park, and to pray. And we have made tremendous efforts to achieve and enhance this goal by including investing over $110 million in bail compliance and tabling legislation that seeks to improve the access to justice for victims. Targeting auto theft with a $51 million investment and $4.5 million to ensure Ontarians experience a mental health crisis have access to mobile crisis response teams. But with the recent rise in hate-motivated incidents, our government has a zero tolerance. Nous avons établi une politique de tolérance zéro face au racisme et à la discrimination. We will always stand with victims, survivors, and our community partners seeking to protect the most vulnerable from harm's way. And that's why I'm here today. I'm pleased to announce today that our government is investing $1.7 million over 2 years through the Safer and Vital Community Grant Program. Thank you. To help stop hate crime and hate-motivated incidents across the province. Successful applicants can apply to receive up to $85,000 each over the 2 years. The theme of this year's Safer and Vital Communities Grant Program is preventing hate crime through community collaboration. And hate in any form is a threat to our democracy. I've said this before, it's toxic to our democracy, and it's completely unacceptable. This funding will be used to encourage community organizations to partner with local police services like the Ottawa Police to submit projects that will address the root causes of hate in all forms. This grant will empower communities to stand together with law enforcement and focus on ethnic, cultural, and faith-based hate. With the recent rise in hate-motivated crimes, this theme cannot be more important. Le statu quo ne peut plus durer. Chaque personne a le droit de vivre en sécurité au sein de sa propre collectivité. Trop, c'est trop. The call for applications will open in a few weeks. This investment is a clear demonstration of our government's dedication to keeping the people of Ontario safe. Pour le Premier ministre de l'Ontario et pour moi, c'est personnel. Our dedication to public safety is absolute and constant because our government is focused on public safety. This builds on the $86 million our government has allocated. $86 million that our government has allocated to protect faith and cultural communities since 2021. And before I leave here today, I want you all to know that I'm looking forward to seeing the projects and the progress that results from this grant and the ongoing efforts of everyone here today. Because I said this just a second ago, we all have an inherent right to live safely in our communities. You are the reason Ontario is strong, and we will always have the backs of everyone that keeps Ontario safe. Il est temps de faire preuve de clarté morale. Tout le monde a le droit de vivre sans haine. Thank you, merci beaucoup, and miigwech. And now, it's my honor to call the Ottawa Police Chief, Eric Stubbs, for his remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Bonjour. Thank you, Honourable Solicitor General Michael Kersner. Pleasure having you here today. MPP Lisa MacLeod, thank you very much. Mayor Sutcliffe, MPP Gamari, Richard, great to see all of you here today. The Ottawa Police Service is proud to join the Solicitor General in announcing the calls for applications for the 2024 to 2026 Safer and Vital Community Grant. Throughout the last year, I and many members of the OPS have been talking with the public about the rise of hate crime in our community. This is why the theme of this grant is so timely and so relevant. In 2023, the total hate-related incidents, which includes both criminal and non-criminal, rose nearly 20% in Ottawa. In raw numbers, that's 460 events last year compared to 385 in 2022. The Jewish and 2S LGBTQIA+ communities are the most impacted in our community at 27% and 19% respectively. The increased number of hate crimes and hate-motivated incidents are concerning. In July, we issued a media release about an increase in hate-motivated crimes affecting the 2S LGBTQIA+ communities. We worked with them to ensure that people who attend public events like Pride feel safe doing so. We continue to work towards a stronger relationship and to further build trust with that community. We understand how the ongoing conflict in the Middle East has affected the Jewish and Muslim communities and many others here in Ottawa. We are actively working with organizers to encourage peaceful assemblies. As well, we are investigating all reported incidents of hate crime that have resulted in a number of charges laid in relation to hate-motivated incidents. As an example, on January 5th, charges were laid against a 34-year-old with 18 counts of mischief related to the accused spray painting a series of anti-Semitic and hateful messages in multiple locations across the city. In December, an investigation into an anti-Semitic, misogynistic, and intimidating phone calls resulted in charges against a male living in BC. That's just a few of our successful investigations. Public safety remains a priority during these trying times. The OPS is in close contact with community leaders and institutions as we work to understand their concerns and keep them safe. We are continuing to have a police presence at a number of religious and cultural buildings during this time of conflict in the Middle East. The OPS encourages anyone who has experienced or witnessed a hate crime or hate-motivated incident to report it to the OPS or their local authorities. I want to thank the Solicitor General for leading this effort in the province, and this is not just a one-off. Last week alone, he led a meeting with the 12 large police agency chiefs in Ontario as we discussed the trends of hate crime in the province and how we can learn from each other and adopt best practices. The Safer and Vital Community Grant is another example where the province and the police are aligned to combating the increase of hate crime in the province. I'm looking forward to the outcomes of the grant application and seeing what solutions are brought forward to address this important issue. The Ottawa Police Service wants to work more with our community organizations, of which there are many in the community that do such valuable work in this area. I will now ask Mayor Sutcliffe to come to speak, and I will say the Mayor has also been a strong leader in the community who has been advocating for unity in Ottawa during this difficult time, and I greatly appreciate his efforts in working with our citizens and police to achieve this goal. Mayor Sutcliffe.
Thank you, Chief Stubbs. Bonjour tout le monde et bienvenue. C'est vraiment un plaisir d'être ici ce matin. Et I want to thank the Solicitor General and his colleagues in the provincial government, our great local MPPs, Lisa MacLeod and Goldie Gamari, for their leadership on this. It's great to see the leaders of the Jewish community and other local community leaders who are here today for this announcement as well. So thank you for being here. And I want to take a moment to thank Chief Stubbs for his leadership. Since he became police chief, he has been meeting regularly with community leaders, people from throughout the community, listening to their concerns, their worries, and has been responding. And he's been a great listener, and he's been taking action on behalf of the community to make sure that Ottawa continues to be a safe place. I think all the time about the Ottawa that I grew up in. I always think of Ottawa as a warm and welcoming community, a kind and compassionate city. But the statistics tell the story in recent months and recent years of the fact that we have seen a significant increase in hate crimes, as the police chief pointed out, of racism and even violence in some cases, of racist graffiti. We've seen incidents of anti-Semitism and Islamophobia and hatred towards the 2S LGBTQ plus community as well. And that has no place in Ottawa. It has no place in our city. That is not the Ottawa that we want, and it is not the Ottawa that we are going to have. So I want to applaud the efforts of the provincial government, their leadership on this issue. I want to thank the Solicitor General personally, and also thank the police chief and his entire team at the Ottawa Police Service for their leadership in pushing back against this, in fighting it, investigating these crimes. Since October 7th, of course, there have been more incidents that we have seen. There's been a rise in incidents of anti-Semitism and Islamophobia, and we must work hard to tackle this together as a community. I've taken a number of steps to engage with religious leaders in the community. We published a statement jointly, including more than 85 clerical leaders in the community, members of the clergy, denouncing hatred in all of its forms. And we will continue to work with leaders in the community to make sure that we are bringing people together and that we're using this as a moment to unite people instead of divide them. But this program will help, and so we are grateful for the support of the province. And we will not rest until Ottawa is a community that is truly safe for everyone. I've spoken with family members, people who live and work in our community, who have kids going to school at the Jewish school and at other religious schools in our community, who are genuinely afraid of what might happen to their children on a school day. And that is not acceptable in our city, and we're going to continue to work as hard as we can until that's no longer the case, and every child can go to school and every adult can go to work feeling safe and not feeling threatened. So thank you again. Merci beaucoup pour votre soutien et pour ces fonds. And I want to thank the leaders in the community who have been rising to the occasion during this time as well. So with that, I'll turn it over to Richard Marceau from CIJA to say a few words. Bienvenue, Richard.
Merci, Monsieur le Maire, Solicitor Kersner, MPPs McLeod and Gamari, Mayor Sutcliffe, Chief Stubbs. Thank you. Hate crime is a scourge on society. Not only does it affect the victim himself or herself, but it affects an entire community, which is left targeted, intimidated, and unsafe. Year after year, Statistics Canada show that the Jewish community is the religious community that is the most targeted community in terms of hate crimes. And Chief Stubb mentioned earlier that for 16,000 Jews in Ottawa, the Jews are targeted for 27% of hate incidents in Ottawa. Pensez-y, il y a 16 000 Juifs seulement dans la région d'Ottawa et nous sommes les victimes de 27% des incidents haineux. Since October 7th, since Hamas committed the worst massacre of Jews since the Second World War, we've seen a terrifying rise of hate crimes and anti-Semitism. We've seen in Ontario synagogues vandalized. We've seen bomb scares at Jewish schools. We've seen Jewish businesses and Jewish individuals threatened and intimidated. So I am very pleased on behalf of the Jewish community to be here today as the government of Ontario reaffirms its commitment concretely to combat hate crimes in Ontario and to keep our communities, all our communities, safe. It is a crucial extra step to protect the Jewish community and other communities from hate-motivated violent crimes. Solicitor General Kersner, MPP McLeod, and MPP Gamari. I want to thank your government for its leadership today and for the three of you personally for your commitment to combating hate and anti-Semitism. Those are dark times for the Jewish community. And to have allies like Solicitor Kersner and his colleagues in the Ontario legislature, to have allies and supporters like the Chief of Police of Ottawa and the Mayor of Ottawa means so much to the Jewish community, represented today by the leadership of the Ottawa Jewish Federation and B'nai B'rith. We need, at this dark period, we need allies, we need support, and today is a concrete step and a concrete example of what can be done to combat Jew hatred in Ontario. Thank you.
There's lots of space over here. If anyone wants.
Happy to be with you.
Yeah. Don't like to be alone.
We'll now get ready with our media Q&A. So if you can please identify your publication, and a reminder, it is one question, one follow-up.
Okay, we're just going to freewheel this. Dave Baxter here with Global News. Can you tell us a bit more about, like what kind of programs you're hoping to see funded with these $85,000 grants, and just given the amount of the rise in anti-Semitism we're seeing and other hate crimes, is this enough to combat that rise, especially when we're seeing so much of this information that leads to these hate crimes spread online?
Well, I want to thank you for the question. Our government has an all-of-government approach in dealing with the rise of hate, which, as I said, is completely unacceptable. This is an example of a grant that community organizations, faith-based or not, can work with local police services across Ontario to determine projects that will help root out hate in their communities. And I think this is a great step.
And next question for Chief Stubbs. If you wanted to add anything to that first one, definitely feel free to. Just one of the things we see more in Toronto. I haven't seen it as much in Ottawa protests. Chance of things like intifada at the pro-Palestinian protests. There's some debate going on there. Like, is this incitement of hate? Like, how does that fall under criminal code provisions? Can you give us a bit of insight on your end of like how police handle chants like this at protests?
Sure. And maybe I'll just say something quick to your first question as well. In regards to some of the results from the grant, one thing that is very important to us and that we do a lot of is educating the public about hate crime and hate incidents and what that is and how they can report to us. Trust is a very important thing. In some diverse communities, we want to make sure that the groups that are awarded this grant, we want to work very closely with them to make sure we're in lockstep to educate the public and get that information to us. So our strong hate crime unit can investigate these incidents. To your second question, as you may or may not know, we do have a lot of protests and a lot of rallies here in Ottawa throughout the year. When it comes to to ones that are focused on this Middle East crisis, every event that we're at, we are communicating with the organizers to understand what is it they want to do, what do they want to accomplish, to make sure the three things: it's peaceful, it's lawful, and it's safe. And we work with them under those pillars that we want to see. During an event, we will be monitoring it for any signs of any criminal activity, be it hate crime or not. And we have educated our team to look at if it's a sign, if it's a narrative, some verbal dialogue at a speech that is expressed, to listen and to determine whether or not there's crimes being committed. Then we'll assess that and then react. So we've, whatever comes our way, we consume it, we listen to it, and then we react.
Perfect. No,
Okay, thank you.
My question is also for you, so if you don't mind, I'll just keep you where you are.
Sure.
Joe Tunney, CBC Ottawa. I wanted to see, I know we got an update pretty soon after October 7th about the rates of hate crimes in the city. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if you have any hard numbers on you, but can you just give me a sense of where things are now? Has it remained that high? Has it decreased? Has it increased?
Right.
Can you just kind of give me a lay of the land?
Right. Well, since October 7th, we've had 128 hate crime or hate-related incidents reported to us. So that is an increase the same time last year, predictably. I would say in 2024 now, it has slowed down. Over Christmas and into the new year, we have seen a decrease in that rate, but they are still being received.
Thanks.
Okay.
Hi, Marlo Glass for the Ottawa Citizen. This program being the $1.7 million over 2 years at, I think, up to $85,000 per, I think that works out to about 10 grants per year per project. Given what we're seeing with the number of hate crimes that have been rising, do you hope that will be enough?
Well, as I said before, and very thank you for the question. There's never been a government in my generation that has taken the public safety of all of Ontario more seriously than our government led by Premier Ford. We're taking a whole of government approach. Minister Michael Ford's ministry had announced over $20 million to also fight hate. What this project will do, what this grant project will do, is allow organizations to work with their police services in jurisdiction and to find the root cause of hate and to have a project that will stamp it out. So this is another example of other ministries working together, looking at an all-of-government approach. And I think this grant will be well received in the communities across Ontario.
Thanks.
Thank you.